Weapons of mass destruction, and missiles are on the Lord's band, and pointed at every nation. Time gets shorter. Crates of guns and ammo from country to country. They go. They pray that the people don't know.
What's going on, everybody? To my 5 subscribers. You can see the construction's almost getting done. Got one more wall to do, and I'll be done. That'll be done by Monday, I think. But today I want to talk to you about something that's been bothering me. And I've been talking about it for the last 2 or 3 videos. And it's these suburban white losers who are just kind of like, they're causing so much trouble and for no reason. You don't care about black people. You don't care. Because if you did, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. You're hurting more people than you're helping. You go in to these major cities and you're burning these places down, these black-owned businesses down. You're burning down neighborhoods that you don't live in. None of you live in. Half of you are homeless. Live in a tent on the streets of Seattle. 'Cause you're a complete loser. And for all you moderate Democrats out there that are supporting these people and are joining forces with them, I don't understand it. I don't get it. And 2 things I want to talk about is the recent news about Aunt Jemima. Now, I don't know, back in the early 90s, I think it was, when the Land O'Lakes took the Indian off the front cover, the squaw off the front cover. I don't care. That's fine. It's not my company. If they think that it's kind of racist, then fine. I always thought Aunt Jemima, though, that was how did Aunt Jemima survive, but not the Land O'Lakes squaw? I never understood that one. So, but what I didn't know was that Aunt Jemima, one of the ladies that portrayed Aunt Jemima back in the early 1900s, was from Syracuse. They found her at the Syracuse, at the New York State Fair one year. And it's pretty interesting now that they've taken it down. The great-grandson of Syracuse's Aunt Jemima, angry at her removal. He says this is an injustice. And after I read this story, I understand why. Larnell Evans Sr., the great-grandson of Syracuse woman who played Aunt Jemima for nearly 20 years, tells Patch that he vehemently disagrees with Quaker Oats' decision to change the logo on its Aunt Jemima product, including pancake mix and syrup. This is an injustice for me and my family. This has been part of my history, sir, Evans said Thursday. The racism they talk about, using images from slavery, that comes from the other side. White people. So this is a black person saying this, not me. It's a black person saying this. So, the company profits off images of our slavery, and their answer is to erase my great-grandmother's history. A black female. It hurts. Evans' great-grandmother, Anna Short Harrington, portrayed Aunt Jemima from 1935 to 1954 after being discovered by the Quaker Oats Company representatives while cooking pancakes at the 1935 New York State Fair. She was hired as an actress to dress up like Aunt Jemima and travel North America, serving pancakes and promoting the brand. Harrington, who cooked for many fraternity houses at Syracuse University, is buried in Syracuse, was the third Aunt Jemima. Nancy Green, a former slave, originated the role with an apron and headscarf in 1893. And there's a picture of his great grandmother. So this just kind of shows you what you're doing. So now you're erasing this gentleman's his family's history, and you can't think that's a good thing. You just can't. You can't think that's a good thing. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was Bubba Wallace. Okay, now this is the one that got me, because I jumped on the bandwagon of the Jussie Smollett until I actually read the story and I actually listened to what happened. And Bubba didn't even see the news. Somebody else in his garage reported this, but yet we're getting so worked up about everything that the FBI got called in and everything else. Well, it ended up being a garage handle pull. And admittedly, I saw the picture, and you could think it was a noose if you wanted it to be. But here's the problem I have. Okay, this is another reason. This is another thing where you're killing people. You're killing people's careers. Bubba Wallace didn't really do anything wrong. He wasn't a Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett hired people, bought things, and set the whole thing up himself. It was a complete and utter lie. Bubba, on the other hand, it was a mistake. But with today's climate, he took action. With today's climate, the fact that they just banned the Confederate flag at NASCAR races, he took action. I can't blame the guy. What I don't like is that NASCAR, before they even knew what was going on, just jumped on the bandwagon and did this walk and we stand with Bubba and all this crap, and did this long walk with him. And, they just created a whole straw man before they even had an investigation. They had no idea. They just assumed that somebody did this because of the climate that you guys created. The climate and the rhetoric that's out there right now. And, so I don't know. Now Bubba Wallace is getting, compared to Jussie Smollett. That's not fair. Really, it's not fair. I don't think it's fair at all. But now all the media's jumping on the bandwagon, and now they're all doubling down and tripling down on this stuff. Instead of saying, it was a mistake. Sorry, my bad, it was a mistake. They're all doubling down on this stuff now and making it worse. Making it 10 times worse. If Bubba would have just said, screw all you people. It happened. Sorry. What are you going to do? But no, instead, NASCAR jumped on it. Like I said, NASCAR just jumped on it. And did all that whole bullshit. That big, huge deal. And it was all for nothing. And that's where we have the problem. Now all these brands and everything else are jumping on this. I'm not worried about the little commie kindergarten out there in Seattle. That's not really going to do anything. They destroyed property. We can rebuild it. No big deal. They're not getting anybody in their favor. My brother lives in Seattle, and he says most people can't stand it. And then you got that stupid-ass mayor out there. So I'm not too worried about the commie kindergarten. I'm worried more that these brands and these big corporations are bending the knee to all of this. here's why I have a problem with it. Because from where I'm standing, they're contributing to this big problem. They're contributing hugely to this big problem. And what I can see, and what has happened plenty of times before, is they'll go in, they'll burn a place down, and then they'll go in, they'll sweep in afterwards and buy it all up for pennies on the dollar. Because none of these business owners are going to stay there. How can they plan to do business in a place like Seattle, where when they can't they don't have a guarantee that their businesses are going to be protected, or their livelihoods are going to be protected at all? They can't do that. Well, why would you? Why would you invest your hard-earned money into starting a business in a place where the cops are going to be defunded and deregulated? It makes no sense. I think this big, huge investment firm in Seattle, like $1 billion business, just left. They're moving to Phoenix. They're like, screw you guys. But this is crazy. You've been complaining about the 1%. This whole for crying about the 1% for years. And now you're giving the 1% access to your cities to come in and buy everything up for pennies on the dollar. Because you're going to have somebody who has a storefront in Seattle, and it's all burnt out and busted up. All their product is gone. You think they're going to get what they deserve to sell that? You think they're going to get what they deserve? No. Some major corporation like Amazon or Walmart or Target or any of these big, huge corporations will come in and say, hey, we'll give you $1 million for it. I know it's worth $20 million, but we'll give you $1 million for it. Or $800,000. And what do you think these people are going to do? They're going to take that $800,000 and run. And move to a different city, and maybe hopefully they can save enough money again to start a new business from the ground up again. But it's getting harder and harder and harder to start your own business because the government just completely puts roadblocks in front of you any chance they get. You got to have a license for this. You got to have a permit for that. You got to do this. You got to have tax. You got to pay these taxes. You got to pay this compensation. You got to pay this insurance. You got to have that insurance. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's just completely ridiculous. So, I just want you lefties out there to think about what you're doing. You've listened to these stupid academic professors your whole life, and they've ruined you. They've ruined you. And for all you other people out there who lean left, stop supporting these guys. This is not about black lives anymore. Which, in the beginning I can see the protests. I really didn't understand it since nobody disagreed with what that guy did. Nobody disagrees with you, so I don't know what you're protesting, but I understand it. But at this point, where we are now, it's not about black lives anymore. Now, it's about tearing down the whole system, tearing down all our history and all our statues, and phew, we're in deep shit, boy. We're in deep shit. All right. Hit the like button, subscribe. This is my rant for today. See ya.